dive deeply together into truth. As usual, we begin with one of the questions that comes from our global family. We're joined by our family from all over the world who aren't able to be here physically, but they join in from Facebook, YouTube, different platforms online. And so in order to honor them and remind them that even though they're not with us physically on the banks of Ganga, they are with us, we begin with one of the questions that they've sent in, and then open it up to any questions that anyone here might have. What is the simplest truth? The simplest truth? Well, truth in general is simple. All truth is simple. What gets complex is when we make stories. That's when you find yourself always saying, "Wo to mera matlab nahi tha, main ye nahi kehna cha rahi thi, main yahi kehna cha raha tha." When we're actually just speaking pure truth, it is very simple. And the spiritual truths are even more simple. Who are you? I am. Soham. I am that. That capital T, that. I am one. One with the universe, one with the Creator, one with the creation. What can be simpler than that? Just I am. Usually we try to fill in after I am with something that gets complicated. I am a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or the president of this company or whatever I may be that I've got some identification around. Or I am this person. Don't you know who I am? Right? We hear people say that all the time. Don't you know who I am? Whenever I hear that, I always find myself wanting to say, don't you know who you are? Because when we say that, it's always the drama. It's don't you know who I am, as in, this is my company, or this is my bank account, or this is my power, or this is my powerful husband, wife, mother, father, brother, sister. It's all drama. It's all illusion. So the truth is always very simple. Right? I am. We can say I am that, yes. But you might as well just also say I am. It sort of means the same thing. I am all, I am that, I am. And think about love. How simple is love? Our expectations, our attachments make it very complex. Perhaps the most complex. But the love itself is very simple. If we didn't convolute it with attachments and expectations and dramas and stories, love of the heart is perhaps the simplest and most beautiful experience. Whatever we love. Because ultimately when we love, we're loving God. Whether we're loving God in the form of a human being, whether we're loving God in the form of the tree in our backyard, loving God in the form of a deity, Doesn't matter what the form is, or no form. But when we love, when we really love anyone or anything, what we're loving is God. Because we're loving their essence. The complexity, the drama comes when we've got these attachments around their physical story. You should be here at this time. You should come with flowers and chocolates. You should say these things. You should act in this way, dress in that way, speak to me in this way. That's all around the physical package. But love is of the essence. It's not, oh, I love you now that you're finally wearing the type of clothes I want you to. Right? Love is love. And when we're really loving, what we're loving is essence. And that essence is God. So whether it's your spouse, whether it's a friend, whether it's your parent, whether it's your child, whether it's a tree, if you really love, and I say tree, by the way, not as a joke. I've had some of the most powerful experiences of oneness, universal love and oneness with trees. So it's absolutely possible. Whatever you love, if you love fully, if you love fully and you love the essence, what you're loving is God. So there is no one simplest truth. The truth itself is always simple. Things only become complex when we get our drama into it, when we get our identification into it, when we get our attachments and our expectations worked up in it. Then it's very complex. Truth itself, always very simple. It's why Bhagawan Krishna could give all of the truth of us, of the universe, of divinity, of every single possible thing you could imagine in 700 verses. Right? Choti si, right? We have these beautiful little Gitas, like a third the size of your mobile phone. And all the truth of the universe. But novels are very long. Right? Pick up a good novel, it's easily a good few hundred pages. Why? Because it's all the drama. It's very complex. But just the truth, pure truth, simple. Not easy, by the way. It's important to realize that simple and easy are not synonymous. Just because something is simple does not mean it's easy. So the truth isn't always easy, but it's always simple. And the moment that we realize that actually, when we realize that our highest goal is truth, then it becomes easier, because then we realize that every step we take away from pure truth is a step that we're taking away from our highest goal, from our highest self. And so we start living more in the simple truth. Beautiful. Great question. If anyone here has any questions, I am happy to take them. Yes, of course. हाँ, हिंदी में ठीक है, बस simple हिंदी.
हाँ नहीं सिंपल. जैसे आत्मा होती है उसको तो टुकड़े नहीं किए जा सकते, वो तो सब एक है, वन। तो जैसे जब एक जैसे घड़ा है, वो पूरी चीज आत्मा से भरा हुआ है, तो वो आत्मा का मूव तो करेगी, क्योंकि एक ही चीज है। तो जब मरने के बाद आत्मा कहीं जाती है तो जाएगी, तो वो तो एक ही है। चलो ये भी चलेगा। अब ये है कि आत्मा तो मतलब प्योर है, उसमें कुछ मिक्स नहीं हो सकता। तो जब हमारा पुनर्जन्म होता है तो हम कहते हैं हमारे कर्म और हमारे संस्कार भी ट्रांसफर होते हैं। तो जब आत्मा निर्लेप है, निर्लेप समझते हैं? निर्लेप,
बाकी तो समझ गए
हाँ।
कि वो शब्द नहीं।
इन्फ्यूज नहीं किया।
थैंक यू, यस, डन, समझ गए,
डजंट मिक्स, प्योर।
गॉट इट।
तो निर्लेप है, तो अगर आत्मा निर्लेप है तो फिर जन्म, फिर हमारे संस्कार कैसे ट्रांसफर होते हैं दूसरे जन्म में? आत्मा में, और आत्मा के साथ क्या दूसरी चीज भी जाती है?
Beautiful question. Okay. So, for those of you who didn't understand the Hindi, he said, if the soul is just one, undivided, unable to be broken, if we're all just one soul, and if the soul is absolutely pure, doesn't have any taintedness, any darkness, anything on the soul, which is what we believe about the soul, then how is it that our karma, our sanskaras, that which we say go with us from one life to another life, how do they go with us? If there's no impressions on the soul, how do we carry these things from lifetime to lifetime? अगर मैं आंसर अंग्रेजी में दूं तो समझ पाएंगे? अच्छा, ठीक है, डन। Beautiful, beautiful. With the soul, when the soul travels at the end of each life, with the soul goes also what we call the subtle body. Man, buddhi, ahankar. वो जा रहे हैं अपने आत्मा के साथ। तो आत्मा के साथ जब सरल बारे जा रहे हैं, तो अपने मन में जो संस्कार, जो इम्प्रेशंस कहाँ होती है? इम्प्रेशंस तो मन में होती है। चाहे we say good संस्कारस, you say हाँ लड़की तो बहुत संस्कारी है, मतलब अच्छी लड़की है। लड़का तो बहुत संस्कारी, मतलब parents have raised him well. Good boy, good girl. In that way we mean sanskari. But also we have sanskars of experiences that we've had. If you go through trauma, for example, it leaves a sanskar. It leaves an impression. People who have really suffered, there's an impression. So the impression itself can be from anything. When we speak about the rites of passage, our sola sanskars, those are what you could think of as sort of the positive types of sanskars, that we give these impressions to the psyche. Okay? So the impressions are not on the soul, the impressions are on what we call the psyche. Matlab man. But man ke saath, jaise hum emotional life, feeling life, personality, that all goes together. अंग्रेजी में हम psyche बोलते हैं। तो हाँ, वही मैं कह रही हूँ। हाँ, अपनी जो सरल बॉडी कहते हैं, वो आत्मा के साथ ही जाते हैं। जी, थैंक यू, थैंक्स। हाँ हाँ, लेकिन in the eternal existence केवल आत्मा ही है। पर जब हम जीव आत्मा के बारे में बात करते हैं, तो जीव आत्मा के साथ ही ये सरल बॉडी भी जाते हैं। It's like, think about the ocean, okay? But imagine कि पूरा यूनिवर्स में एक ही सागर होते हैं। अब तो काफी सारे सागर हैं, but imagine कि बस एक ही सागर है, just one ocean. Okay, that's all there is. Now in the ocean, there are waves. Now in the wave, जब हम wave को देखेंगे, we say ये क्या है? Well, there's two answers. Both are true. Answer number one, ये एक wave है. Answer number two, ये ocean है. Now, the wave itself is not an illusion. जब हम माया के बारे में बात करते हैं, a lot of times we misunderstand this idea of illusion. It doesn't mean our eyes are playing tricks on us. It doesn't mean that what I'm seeing is some magic that isn't there, like we see water in the desert far away and it really isn't there. Not exactly. It's not a mirage. Maya is not the mirage. When we say illusion, what it means is, if we look at the wave and we say, ye keval ek wave hai, ye wave hi hai. Well, that is an illusion because ultimately, the highest truth of the wave is ocean. Even when it's a wave, if you take a spoonful of it, and you take that spoonful to a science laboratory, and you give it to the scientist, and he looks at it under the microscope, he will say, this is ocean. He will not say, this is wave. Which is why our truth, when we speak about who we are, when the Guru looks at us, when we come in front of God, well, what they're seeing is ocean. That's our highest truth. Now, but the wave is not a mirage. So it's not an illusion in that way. It's not an optical illusion. If you go out into the wave with a surfboard, you will understand it's not an illusion. If you go out into the wave without a surfboard and you cannot swim, you will learn very quickly, ye illusion nahi hai. Right? Anytime you think the wave is an illusion, go out in the ocean and try to swim in a big wave. As you have a mouthful of sand and you can't breathe because you're face down now on the floor of the ocean, you will understand, I guess it wasn't that type of illusion. The illusion that we speak about meaning, it's not the highest truth because it's always changing. Atma doesn't change. Like God doesn't change. Atma just is. But Jivatma, that is traveling with the subtle body, working out its karmic bank account, that you can think of like the wave. It's still ocean, like Jivatma is still Atma. Atma se alag to nahi hai. Wave, ocean se alag nahi hai. Even in the height of its waveness, it's still ocean. Even in the height of our ignorance, illusion, personhood, individual personhood, ultimately the truth of who we are is still Atma. No matter how lost we are in our stories, in our dramas, that doesn't change the truth. We are Atma. But the Jivatma with the subtle body is going through its karmic package. And one aspect of the karmic package are these sanskaras, these impressions. So the impressions are happening upon that psyche, or upon that Jivatma ka package, you can think about it. Impression usme pad raha hai. That's why, it's why we meditate. If it was only soul, and there was nothing but soul, why meditate? Why chant? Why pray? Why do sadhana? If all we are is one big soul, there's no individual souls, there's no karmic packet, there's no nothing. Enjoy your life, because the minute you die anyway, you were soul, you are soul. There's nothing to be done. But what we know is that actually there's this Jivatma and this subtle body that has a karmic package. And I'm going to keep having to go through this cycle of birth and death and reincarnation until that karmic package is finished. इसलिए भगवद गीता में जब अर्जुन ने पूछा तो मैं करूं क्या फिर? If everything I do, every karma I do, is giving me some kind of fruit, and as Bhagavan Krishna said, you can't not act. You are always acting. Even you sit down, you close your eyes, you sit on your hands, you plug your ears, you're still acting. So that's when Arjuna asked, so then what to do? And this is when Bhagavan Krishna explained, realize, just surrender unto me. Just surrender it. And so as we are traveling, as this Jiva Atma package, ultimately the goal is, how much can we surrender? How free can we become of all of the drama? So that these impressions don't keep forming, that we have to keep coming back lifetime after lifetime to work out. Or jo sadhana apne ki, jo man ki purity apne kiya, that purification of the mind, it stays with you. Neto, if we only had one lifetime to get enlightened, that would be kind of difficult, right? If the subtle body did not go with the Jivatma, then it would mean every lifetime was a clean slate and you had to start all over again. But luckily, that purification of the mind, that sadhana we've done, it travels with us. Yes. Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you come sit here next to me? It just makes it so much easier to look at you, to look at everybody else at the same time.
Okay.
And then we don't get funny feedback from my microphone every time I turn my head. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is God real?
Are you real?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you
I
mean?
don't know.
You know, stick with your first instinct. Don't second guess yourself. Okay?
I don't know.
Okay. You are real.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You asked a question, I'm giving you an answer. Okay? You are real. And we know you are real not just because I can see you. Because even if I close my eyes, you're still real. Okay? Now, you exist. Okay? Right? Do we agree that you exist?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, you exist. Now, I've closed my eyes. Do you still exist?
I think yes.
Yes, of course. But I can't see you. I can't use my organ of sight to see you. Okay. Now, I don't touch you anymore. Still can't see you. You don't have any kind of smell. You must have had a good shower today. You're not speaking right now, so I can't hear you. I can't taste you. Do you still exist?
I think yes.
Yes, of course. Now, most of us identify our existence based on the physical body. Okay? What that means is that we are able to know each other and to know our existence only through those 5 senses. But we've just clarified, what is your name?
Arsh.
Arsh. Beautiful. So we've just clarified that Arsh exists even when I'm going to take that for just a moment. Even when I cannot see him, cannot smell him, cannot hear him, cannot touch him or taste him, he still exists. Now, how old are you?
9.
Okay. Do you remember when you were 2 or 3?
No.
Okay, what's the earliest that you remember? What's your longest ago memory?
3 or 4.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay, great. Now, when you were 3 or 4, did you say I? Do you remember using the word I or me or mine when you were 3 or 4? Maybe you had a toy that you really liked and someone tried to take it and you said, that is mine. Or you had cookies and somebody tried to take them and you said, those are mine. Do you remember anything like that?
No, but I think something like that happened.
Yes, I think so too. I think so too. So, at 3 or 4, you existed, and you were understanding that you existed. Because you said I, me, mine. You understood this is my truck, my toy, my cookies, not yours. Means there is a me, mine. Now when you are 9, also you have some sense of I?
Yes.
Yes. Good. But the I when you were 3 or 4 must be very different from the I today, no?
I think so.
So, what's the same? Your body has changed. Every single cell of your body has changed. Every cell of your body has changed. How you understand has changed. What you do has changed when you were 3 or 4. I imagine you probably just played, maybe made a mess that mom had to clean up. But now when you're 9, I bet you also go to school and you study. And maybe you help mom and dad and do...
I attend.
You attend school?
Yeah.
Lovely. So what you do is different. How you think is different. Your body is different. So what's the same?
I.
But what is that I then? What's the same?
That,
I know it's a hard question, but think about it. What's the same?
me.
Mm-hmm. And who is that me? Because at 3, if I said to you, Arsh, tum hai kaun? You would have given me a very different answer than if I ask you today, who are you? So your answer to that question of who are you would change. So who's that me that's the same? And that's going to be the same when you're 30 and 50? Who is that?
It's a really hard question.
I know. I know. But it's probably the most important question you will ever get in your whole life. You want me to give you some ideas? Or you want a few more minutes to think about it?
I want the minutes.
Okay, great.
I can't give the answer.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I'm going to just turn this off. We have a sensitive sound system. So, it's the most important question because only by knowing who we are can we actually live a meaningful life. Now, if I say to you, if we didn't have this whole background, and I don't mean this type of background. I mean the background like our interaction right now. If we had not been speaking, and I just met you outside, and I said, "Oh, you are so handsome. Who are you?" And you said, "Oh, I'm Arsh." Maybe you would tell me I'm 9. Maybe you would tell me where you come from. Maybe you would say, "This is my mom, this is my dad." Maybe you would tell me that you attend school.
My information.
Your information, exactly. Your information. But that isn't really you. Because we've just clarified that when you were 3, you also said I. But everything else is different. Except your mom and dad, of course. But everything else about who you are is different. So who is that I? Well, in our spiritual teaching, what we are told is that I, that is the soul, which never changes. The body keeps changing. Your relationships keep changing. So much keeps changing. Today you're in school. In a few years, you'll be in a different school. Then you'll be in college and university. Then you won't be in school at all. You'll have a job. Then maybe you'll have a different job. Then eventually you'll retire from your job. Again, you won't have a job. But who you are stays the same. Before you were born even. After you leave your body even. Because the I is not in the body. Body keeps changing, right? So if the I stays the same even when the body changes, then the I is not in the body, right? You don't exist in your elbow, do you? Me is not there, right? No. So it's not there, not in your knees. Have a good look. No, not there. It's not in the body. It's the soul. What did you say?
The outer body.
The outer body. I would say the inner body. This body, you can kind of think of it as outer, but you know the soul can also be outer. It's not only inner. It's inner as in how we feel it, because it's deep. But it's infinite. It's infinite. It's ever expanding and infinite. That paradox. That's the soul. No beginning, no end. That's who you are. And I give you all of this because that soul, that truth of who you are is one with God. And by knowing who you are, इसको जरा बंद कर दीजिएगा, धन्यवाद. By knowing who you are, then you know that God exists. See, if you think that you're only your body, only the bones and the muscles.
People always say that God is inside you.
God is not only inside you, God is you. Inside you where? In your liver? In your kidneys? In your lungs? In your heart? So where inside?
So you're
Another tough question.
You're trying to say that I am God, but I don't know it.
Exactly.
Everyone is God, but they don't know it.
Absolutely. Would you like to run satsang from now on? Don't worry. It was just a joke. Exactly. Now, you have a body, and you've spent your whole life thinking that you are the body. And so you forget that you're God. But when you really go within and you ask questions like, who is that me? That was the same me when I was 3. and is going to be the same me when I'm 30 and 50 and 80 and 100. Who is that? Not in the cells of my body. The cells keep changing. Every cell of my body keeps changing. So where is that me? Well, that's the soul. That's who you are. You're just in this body. It's like you ride in a car, right? Sometimes. You must have been in a car sometimes? Yeah. Okay. That was an easy question. So when you're in the car is going someplace, it's moving. But you understand that you're not the car, right? So if while you were driving in the car, let's say, somebody called you, and on the phone they said to you, "Who are you?" And you said, "Oh, now I'm Muzaffarnagar." They'd say, no, I didn't say where are you. I said, who are you? And you said, now I'm Roorkee. Then they would think, right? They would laugh. They would think either your phone is bad, no signal, or you have gone a little crazy, right? Because we understand that where my car has reached is not who I am. That's just where my car is. Now in Muzaffarnagar, in half an hour, then in Roorkee, eventually in Haridwar, and then Rishikesh. But that's not who I am. But in the same way...
That makes no sense.
Okay, done. Let me make it make sense. If you say to me, I am 9-year-old Arsh, and I am... Do you know how tall you are? How tall are you? Approximately? How many centimeters or meters?
Feet.
I'm sorry? Or feet? Either way. Whatever metrics you use. Any idea? Maybe you're about 3 feet? Approximately. Let's call
4
you...
5 feet.
No, you're not 5 feet.
No, 4 5 feet.
Okay.
3 4.
Okay,
3,
yeah, okay. So we'll call you...
4.
Okay, no problem. You can be 4. We'll call you 4 feet. So do you know how much you weigh, approximately? How many kgs, approximately, or pounds?
I'm not going to tell you in the public.
Pick a number. Pick a number that you would feel happy to say in public. Any
30.
number. 30, okay. So if you say to me, I am Arsh, I am 4 feet, 30 kg, 9 years old. That is the same thing as saying you are Muzaffarnagar. Because you, Arsh, are not your body, any more than you are the car. This body is 9 years old. It's about 4 feet tall. It's about 30 kgs. We call it Arsh. But that's not who you are. Because remember, when you were 3, you were already saying me. But when you were 3, you were probably maybe only 1.5 feet tall, 2 feet tall. And maybe only maybe...
Half feet.
Half feet. Okay. Boy, you had a growth spurt. Okay. Half a foot tall at 3.
No, it's just don't even know.
So let's say half a foot tall at 3. How many kgs were you then?
Would be 10, 11.
Okay. So at that time, you were 3 years old, half a foot, 10, 12 kgs. But how could that be the same me if me is 9 years old and 4 feet tall and 30 kgs? Which is me?
Both.
How is that possible?
Because the soul is the same.
Exactly. Exactly. So whatever happens to the body, you're not your body. You are the soul inside. You are the soul. The body will keep changing, but you are the soul. So that soul is one with God. And when you feel, when you experience the presence of that soul, then you experience the presence of God.
What does that relate to? My question was that
Is God real? Is God real? So I've just given you a way to know, to feel God, to feel that God is real. Because here's the dilemma. I can say to you, yes, God is real. And I can give you all kinds of evidence. Okay? Now,
no one knows.
I'm sorry?
No one knows.
Everyone who has experienced God knows. Let me ask you something. Do you love your mother? How about your father? Is there anyone you love fully?
My grandmother.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, is that love real?
According to me, yes.
Okay. How do you know? Show it to me. How much does it weigh?
It doesn't wait.
Okay, so how do we know it's real? Show me. Put that love in my hands and show me that that love is real.
It is real, but we can't do it with our physical body. We can't see it, we can't hear it, we can't smell it, we can't touch it. We cannot do it physically.
Exactly.
It's just a mental thing.
But not mental. You don't love your grandma only with your brain.
With everything.
Right.
People say that I love that man, I love that woman with my heart.
With your heart, but with all of who you are, right? You feel it in your whole being.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in the same way, even though we can't see God or know God with our physical body, not with our eyes, our ears, our nose, there's no weight. I can't stick God in your hands and prove to you that God exists. But you know that you love your grandmother. You know that love exists. And that's in the same way that we know that God exists. Not because we can prove it, not because I can show you how much God weighs or what color God is or what box God is in. Beautiful. So God manifests in many ways. And all of those ways have different beautiful forms.
But we don't know how he looks.
He looks like everything. He looks like you sometimes. The God in you looks like you. When you look in the mirror,
I
want you to see God.
How can I see God in a mirror? I just see myself, my physical body.
Well, you see you've got this nice tilak that's been put there on your third eye? You remember that you have that on your third eye right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
A trident.
Exactly. And beneath that, there's a little tilak that's been put. You've got the trident, and then there's a little tilak right beneath that. They must have put it on in the mandir. But it's perfect because the way that we see and know is with our third eye. These two eyes only see physical form. They see form, they see movement, they see light. But this eye is the eye that sees the divine. And that's why we put tilak on. So when you look in the mirror, it's not that you see God, oh, that's God's nose. It's not that. But when you look in that mirror, I want you to look in your eyes with your third eye. Feel that trident there every day, all the time.
I do that sometimes and I feel really weird. It just like some really weird feeling. Like when sometimes go time spending with my grandmother. It's just a feeling in my heart. I feel it.
Beautiful.
But I can't express it.
That's okay. You don't need to.
I cannot express it, but it's just a feeling that I
Yes.
I cannot explain it.
You don't need to explain it.
The experience was grateful.
Mm.
It was polite.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So this is how we know God exists. Because we feel it. We know it. And we can't necessarily prove it. We can't even necessarily explain it very well.
I know. I think so. We know that God's real, and I have know that souls are also real. But I have one question.
Yes. Yes.
What are ghosts?
Oh, from God to ghosts.
People say that. People say ghosts are trapped souls that that didn't go, that just stayed in a place, and then we say that place haunted.
Yes, we do.
So what's that feeling?
Mm.
Is ghost real?
Okay, great. I'm going to just do this for a moment. Then you can hold it. So, from God to ghosts. But I'm glad we got the God part figured out at least. Ghosts, people say sometimes that there are spirits that for whatever reason are held back, that are there. People feel them. There's a whole very in-depth, very long, very complex science around after we die. And different traditions actually have different ways of explaining it and understanding it. But sometimes we feel the presence of someone. I don't believe in things like haunted places. And here's why. I'll tell you why. If you say that a soul is trapped and can't get out, well, to me that means that God is playing favorites. That God is saying, this soul is bad and has to be trapped. Whereas these souls are good and don't have to be trapped. And that doesn't make any sense to me because I don't think that God does that. So I think that definitely, especially right after people die, there's that ability that happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen for everyone. But it happens sometimes for some people where in the few weeks, few months, right after someone has passed, there's kind of a feeling that you still feel them with you. And even though on a deep level they're always with you, you seem to be able to feel them more in the beginning. And it's said that that's because they are actually still sort of around here, not having fully gone yet into their next birth.
Don't grave me. Don't grave me.
But I don't think that they're here in a scary way. Just like they weren't scary in life. They're not going to be scary in death. When people pass on and they haven't yet gone on their next stage, exactly. Thank you. That doesn't make them scary. It just makes them still here. You want to turn on your microphone? We can take this as the last part of our conversation. Maybe more tomorrow. When your
That's when my grandfather, my Nanu, died. I had a feeling for a few months, and I sometimes locked my room and cried about it. That feeling wasn't too good. Like when I was with my grandmother, it was like I have two types of feelings. A good one, like with my grandmother, with my parents, and a bad one when someone dies and I feel it. So I be happy when that good feeling, I be sad in that feeling. So you in the starting that God one, you told me that there is one difference. So that one similarity. So what's that similarity between these two?
What's the similarity between which? The similarity we were talking before was you at 3 and you at 9, that me that was the same. Now, which similarity are you talking?
That good feeling and that bad feeling.
Okay. The similarity between them. It's a beautiful question. You have very deep questions. The similarity between our good feelings and bad feelings is that ultimately neither of them is actually the highest truth. Meaning, the feelings that we have are actually taking place in our brain by chemistry, by electricity. There's chemicals that people take that give them what they think of as good feelings. Things happen, we have bad feelings. We know this neurologically. You can look at someone's brain scan and understand what is going on. We even know different ways in the brain to stimulate and to make different emotions. Make someone angry, make someone sad, make someone happy, make someone laugh. They can actually do this in the brain. The similarity between those feelings is they are all momentary, maybe a few seconds, maybe a few hours, but ultimately they are momentary patterns of electricity and chemistry in our brain that we identify as good or bad. But then they go away. So there's a good feeling, then it goes away. Then maybe another good feeling, then it goes away. Then a bad feeling, it goes away, right? These are how feelings happen. They come like a wave. It builds and it's over. It comes and it's over. So all of our feelings are like these waves. But they're not actually the truth of who we are. It's like saying the wave is the whole ocean. No, it's just a moment. It's a moment of form out of the whole ocean. That feeling of goodness, as beautiful and wonderful as it is a moment. That feeling of sadness, which I wouldn't say bad, by the way. It's also very beautiful. To feel sad when you lose someone you love is very beautiful. It means you loved them so much. There's nothing wrong with sadness. It doesn't feel great, I understand that. But ultimately, it reminds us of how deeply we loved. And it reminds us of how deeply we feel. But,
the love that, like, it's also like a wave. The love started when I was born, and then it ended when he died. And now I don't have that type of feeling every day.
let me ask you something. Close your eyes. Keep them closed. Okay, now, I want you to think about your grandfather. Can you see him?
With a type of picture.
In your eye, in your mind's eye, can you see him?
Yes.
Great. Now, I want you to imagine yourself walking up to him and sitting in his lap. Can you do that?
Don't make me
Maybe
cry.
from some memory?
Don't make me cry.
See, you still love him. And that's beautiful. That's all I wanted to show you. The love did not go away. You still love him. And that's beautiful.
I love him, but
Yes.
but that bad feeling now didn't come. Like, now I just love him.
And no bad feeling. You
Yes.
know why? Because we were focusing on the love. And that's actually the way when you're having bad feelings. if you can focus on love instead, then you'll find the bad feelings go away.
Like my always dad says me that that the thing we have, think about that. Don't think about that we don't have.
Exactly. You have a very wise dad. Exactly. Exactly. And when you're feeling bad feeling, then just think of that beautiful feeling of crawling into your grandfather's lap with love. Okay? Thank you for being with us tonight, Arish. That was wonderful. You were really wonderful. You're a very, very, very special young man.
It was also a really good time spending with you.
Oh. Beautiful. Wonderful. बाकी questions हम कल ले लेंगे. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. And a beautiful morning and day for our family joining us from all over the world. And I look forward to seeing you all hopefully tomorrow. So much love to you.